ladies and gentlemen, dear fellow colleagues, it's a pleasure as always to be here. So I would like to thank my colleague Governor Radović and Mr. Vlahović for the chance to be here and to share the floor with distinguished colleagues and experts. So when it comes to Bosnia and Herzegovina, as you probably know, we have the currency board arrangement, and actually it's a very rigid monetary policy in terms of availability of instruments that we have on our disposal. Practically, we have only one instrument on our disposal, which is a required reserve. Just as you mentioned in your question, we have done the spring round of forecasts, and actually we have communicated the revised numbers for the inflation, and we did revisions upwards for the midterm if we compare the numbers with the fall round of our projections. When it comes to trajectory, we expect to have the same trajectory, but just a bit higher than we used to have in the previous round. Currently, for the period 2025 to 2027, we have projections for the headline inflation at 3.5. For 2026, 2.4, and for 2027, 1.9 respectively. We already know, actually, we are aware of the fact that we have many risks aside, but we just hope that revisions upward are possible, but we just hope for the best, that those revisions will not be significant. In your introduction, I believe you correctly emphasized that domestic inflation is a structural consequence of the global alignments that we definitely witness on a world scene. In all our macroeconomic models that we use future of energy and food prices. But we are aware of the fact that according to current conditions on the market, some of those projections for the food and electricity might completely be off. So they don't have to practically be as they look right now. On the other hand, we have the issues since it's a challenge to estimate the amount of money that will be devoted to defense. We all witness that all budgets are significantly being increased for defense, so we don't know if that will tackle the public expenditure and eventually inflation, because definitely the food and electricity prices and defense spending are both inflationary, which is definitely the case. The European Commission was communicating that ECB monetary policy, apologies, that ECB monetary policy tightening was effective one, and in curbing the inflation. And actually that's the reason why they project to have inflation even below the 2%, which was the target one. And the date of this statement was May 25th, so practically it was just 2 or 3 weeks ago. It practically implies that ECB does not count on tariffs to significantly jeopardize the numbers when it comes to inflation. I would say that conditional on the effective ECB monetary policy is definitely the spillover effect that you mentioned, and let's just hope that it will be limited one. It's not going to be with no limits. When it comes to internal issues in Bosnia and Herzegovina, I have to say that we have a couple of factors which are driving inflation, definitely. One of them is related to a shortage of labor within the EU market. In Bosnia and Herzegovina, we have promises for a long time for the reform of the labor market, but those doesn't happen. We have negative demographic trends, and at the same time we have a huge demand from the EU market. So this is definitely something that causes a spiral between the wages and the salaries, and actually increase. On the other hand, at the beginning of 2025, we had a huge shock in terms of increase of the minimum salary. In one entity, the increase was for 60%, so 60. According to that, we were not able to use any single model with a shock like that, because there is no single model in the world that can give any assumption what happens if you increase one part of the equation for 60%, what happens next. So honestly, I don't know right now. At the same time, the competitiveness was, the domestic price competitiveness was mainly linked to the low prices of energy. And this is something that came to the end as well due to the CBAM mechanism, which is about to start very soon. And the country is not prepared for that in terms of laws and bylaws, so we still have some homework to do in that sense. So in this case, I often hear, having this said, I often hear some optimism by my colleagues about contained inflation over the medium term. But honestly, I don't share that optimism. I believe that we have some inflation ahead. And according to everything what I said, I'm not sure how much central banks can do to stop it, because some of the issues that I mentioned are definitely outside of our control. No matter the type of monetary policy that we have, no matter the number of instruments that we have, we are definitely, in Bosnia and Herzegovina, we are definitely very limited, as I said at the beginning, in terms of our instruments. And honestly speaking, increasing the required reserve rate just for itself, I'm not sure if that would help at all. So definitely it needs to be a very carefully aligned set of instruments and other measures to go through those dangerous waters that we have currently.